Good afternoon, good evening traders. It's Samurai Trader. Welcome to our recap. I'm doing a live recap of the ES 144. It's Sunday afternoon in the US, Sunday evening, and the ES 144, as most of my traders know, it's a market that we trade when the main markets are closed. So we're trading the Globex. With the ES 144, get plenty of volume. Patterns are fantastic, and as you're well aware, patterns tend to repeat themselves time and time again. Trading successfully really is a pattern solving exercise. Now, I've been doing some live training, so hence you're going to see a lot of lines on here, but I wanted to keep them on here and break it down because it's just been a fantastic day. And I had to run out to a meeting, and I just shorted the ES, and I'll just show you what happened there in a moment. But let's have a look. The market opened up this afternoon, Sunday, Monday morning for Australia, and you can see here, let me just remove those two lines, because what we had here was a rising 89 EMA, and we had a T25. That is, we had 2 to 5 candles pull back, as we can see right here. We continued up. We had a good 6 ticks in that trade, but then we started to get a reversal, and we can see the reversal through the T1. We've got divergence here on our platinum. In actual fact, over here we actually had a T9 set up, so you may or may not have taken that 225, but for the 89 EMA, that's the trade you probably would have been in. But anyway, let's go to this trade here. So we had a very nice short just here. We broke down beautifully under the channel, under the 89 EMA, and away we go. We had a beautiful T11. Now remember, a T11 is where we have a lower high or a higher low, usually distinguished by a paint bar, which plots automatically and gives us the entry. Now we can see here that paid off. It also ended up being a T10, which is a very high probability trade. We then fell away. We had another T20. We had a T25 here, T25. We ended up having what have we got here, and this was a T1 and a T2. So if your target was $200 per contract, you would have actually finished, packed up, gone home within the first hour of trading today. Traveling down here further, let me just remove that line there, but let's look at this one here. We had another T11 with no paint bar. After you start to trade the T11s, you recognize the pattern time and time again, and as I mentioned, trading is nothing more than a pattern solving exercise. The patterns repeat themselves day in, day out. So we actually marked this up as we were training here, T11, no paint bar. It also coincided with a T69. Now see the blue line? That is our trigger line. When the trigger line crosses through our zero lag, as it did there, as it did here, what does that distinguish? Around 80-85% of the time, it means a change in trend. So we can see we had a T69, that is where we break out of a channel confirmed by the cross. We had another T69, a break out of our channel, and I know the chart is very busy for the new traders. When we train you, by the way, we remove a lot of these indicators and just start off with one or two. So you can see you've broken the channel, you've closed over the channel, and the trigger line and the zero lag here, which is the cyan, have crossed. Up here we can see here we had a beautiful T2 continuation, so that was a winner for a good 6 to 8 ticks. Another one in here for a good 6 to 8 ticks. You also had a T25 here, 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 and here. Now let's scroll along a little further, and we had another T25 here. Ignore the counter trend trades. Look, really the only counter trend trades that we really recommend and really consider are the T19As or the T89s. Just really, you really want to really pick the best of the best. However, as you hear me repeat every training session, every market recap, become a master, become epic at one setup. My job as your trading coach, I'm your success partner, and out of training now hundreds of traders time and time again, they kill it when they trade with a trend, and they give it back when they can a trend trade. So let's stick with the trend traders. So here, these are all trend trades. Then we get down here, and I'm going to remove this line here. That was actually a T9. So we had a winning T9 there, a loss there, a winner, a winner. Now that's for our advanced traders, but let's remove that for now so we can tidy the chart up. What have we got here? Can you see the paint bar? What we've got here is a beautiful 89B bounce. All right, a straight bounce off the 89, and we had one over here. So this T11 coincided with a pullback and a bounce straight off the 89, as we've got here. As every trader knows, we take every one of those. Here are a very high probability trade. Little over here, I want to point this trade out just here now, and we're live in the market. We've got a T25 set up. Now notice here, by the way, we're bouncing around on the 89. This is what I call a danger zone. We've got to roll over here. Our our long-term stochastic is heading down, but it's a danger zone. Why? We're heading sideways, and on top of that, here in Australia is 340. The main pre-market opens up in Europe in an hour and 40 minutes. So this is traditionally a very choppy time. But getting back to this trade here, I had to go out to a meeting for an hour. So here you can see my entries. A trade station plots automatically. You can see there I went short. You can't really see it up there. It says 10 contracts. These arrows plot automatically, so I shorted the market right here. Now it was before the candle closed, which normally I'd tell you wait for the candle to close, but once you recognize the pattern, I had a falling long-term stoke. My short-term is rolled over, and I knew with confidence of a good 85% this would turn into a T11. So I went to my meeting, so I shorted the market here. Sure enough, a candle later took a bit of heat, but over here when I was out, the T11, the paint bar plotted, and away it went. Now I was limited out here on the bounce of the 89 for 6 ticks, which on 10 contracts is $750 gross before commission. So it's about $700 net, $70, a bit over that, $72 per contract. So for T11s, we had a very nice one there, distinguished with the paint bar, and we had, when I was doing this training session for my clients today, we went long here, pointed this one out. I wasn't in this particular trade here, but we pointed out live because I was doing a webinar. So we went long here, recommended the long here. A couple of things here that pointed this out. One, look at this. We had a beautiful T10 setting up. I had a T69 or a T98 I should say, and sorry about all these T98s, T2s and whatever. You soon learn these. As clients, you discover we have 12 key or core setups. Hence, to make it easy, we'll refer to them in a code format. But when you've got this cross here of the trigger line and the Z lag and a close over the channel and a kick up and the long-term stochastic is pulling up, really they're very bankable trades. Likewise, when I get a slingshot or a T2, let me remind you what a slingshot is. The long-term stochastic is well oversold, the short-term comes down, forms a slingshot, and ping, up it goes. It just happens to be also that our zero lag turns cyan and we get a T1. These are very bankable trades. So at the moment we can see here we had a T25 signal. A T25 is where you have 2 to 5 candle pullback. But what have we got here? We've got the 89 EMA is going sideways. That's why I didn't short the market here. On top of that, the pre-market, the European market's opening very soon, and the volume being traded right now is very thin. So I wanted to really point out this T11 before I went out. I shorted the market before I went. Why? Because I have a lot of confidence, and as I mentioned, the more you learn, the more often, the more screen time you obtain, the better you become at picking the patterns. And remember, it's all about solving the patterns. Now, a constant question, and I would probably now get 40 or 50 emails a day, is why do I train? Why not just trade? Well, trading on its own can be boring, is it can be lonely. Trading has actually made me a much better trader. There's an old saying, he who teaches learns twice, and it's traders, there's nothing more truer saying. It is so true. My trading has gone through the roof, pardon me, through the roof by training other traders. So I'll wrap it up now, and I'll be doing a recap of the FESX from Friday night very shortly. And it's now Monday here, Sunday, as I mentioned, early Monday morning over in the US. So it's been another very successful day. So for the US and Canadian traders that wish to trade after hours, the ES 144 tick using our core trade setups, it's just a fantastic market. Follow the trend, that is, follow the channel and the 89 EMA, and leave the counter trend trades for the specialists. Thank you, traders, and look forward to catching up shortly.